How you doing, Florida? I don't know about you, but I look around this room, and when Joe Biden's putting about 7 people in an audience, I'm saying, I think they may be a little wrong with the polling, but what the hell do I know? I tell you what I know. I know that you guys are not sick of winning yet, are you? We're gonna keep it going a little bit, right? What's it like to actually have a president who has accomplishments? I'm an old guy right now. I turned 41 back in December. And this is the first president who actually delivered on the promises that he made when he campaigned to the American people. Think about it. 6 million new jobs created. When Obama lost a few 100,000 jobs, they said, hey, he's having a great quarter. 6 million new jobs. Unemployment, the lowest in 50 years. Hispanic unemployment, the lowest ever. African American unemployment, the lowest ever. Women's unemployment, the lowest ever. Basically, everyone's damn unemployment is the lowest ever. Everyone's winning. He's fighting for Americans. He's crushing the bastards of ISIS. Right? Obama took him on for 8 years, didn't accomplish anything because he was letting lawyer bureaucrats in DC make the decisions. So we let our guys in the field, our incredible soldiers, we let them make the decision. Hard to believe they're getting it done, right? Shocking. Man, it's hard to believe how our politicians have let us down. How about trade, guys? Donald Trump accomplished more in trade with Mexico with one tweet. He accomplished more with one, maybe 2, tweets than our government has in the last 25 years. It's almost crazy. It doesn't exactly take a rocket scientist to figure out when you as a country import 100 times what the other country imports from you, that you win a trade war if you have the guts to stay in the game for more than about 2 seconds. All right? But our establishment that's been failing us miserably for so long, oh no, China's gonna be mad at us. Well, obviously China has our interests at heart, right? They're fighting for the American dream, right? No! They're fighting for China. Okay? I get it. If I were them, I would fight for them too. But the fact that our politicians, oh my God, he's gonna start a trade war. Guess what, again? 100x, you win the trade war. You got to stay in the game. There's a reason that during the midterms, the Chinese were taking out ads against farmers in Iowa and some of these places. And it wasn't because it was beneficial for China, okay? Let's make that clear. They realize that Trump is a threat to what they've been doing to this country for decades, and that's screwing us. We're taking it on, and we're taking them on, and we're putting America first, and guess what? We're doing it unabashedly. we're not going to hide from the fact that this administration will actually fight for this country. I see the clown show Democrats, and I'm wondering, I don't know who they're fighting for, but it ain't Americans. No, it's not. How about this one? 3.2% GDP growth. You guys remember back in 2016 when my father said, why can't we have 2%? Why can't we have 3%? Why can't we do better? And Obama comes up. Well, Donald, there's no magic wand for that, Donald. You can't just make it happen. Well, abracadabra, buddy. There is a magic wand. You guys know what that magic wand is? Actually, that's a better answer than what I was going to say. You said Donald Trump, so that's actually better. But the magic wand is common sense. It's experience. If you're going to be in charge of the world's most powerful nation and economy, how about have done a little something before becoming the leader of the free world? I don't know. Doesn't seem that novel. How about if you're going to create jobs, wouldn't it help if you actually have created jobs in the past? Wouldn't it actually be relevant that you had families, their well-being, their livelihoods actually dependent on your success? That's why this is working, folks. I hear brilliant guys like Joe Biden. No, it's wonderful. He gets up on the stump. It's so stupid. Well, to his group of about 4 people in the audience, the government has failed you. Usually as he's groping someone. It ain't pretty, but there's something off with that guy. But government has failed you. I go, wait a second. Joe, I actually agree with you. Government has failed them. The problem is, Joe, you've been in government for almost 50 years. If government failed you, maybe you're the problem, Joe Biden. It's not rocket science. What was the good one last week? Remember, Joe Biden comes out, well, if you elect me president, I'm going to cure cancer. Wow. Why the hell didn't you do that over the last 50 years, Joe? No. It's a big deal. I think it's wonderful. Our beautiful friends in the media, no one even questioned him. No one bothered to ask the question. They just take what the Democrats say. Listen, they're liberals. It's okay. They take what they say. They publish it as though it's fact. They pretend there's no, Why did not one of them say, well, Joe, how exactly are you going to do that? And why didn't you do it in the last 8 years as vice president and the prior 40 years in government and the Senate? I mean, I don't know. Seems like a reasonable question to ask. But no. If you're a Democrat, you get the pass on everything. And that's why you guys are so important. That's why we need you fighting with us. Because guess what? No one's going to hear any of the positive statistics. No one's going to hear about 6 million new jobs. No one's going to hear about 3.2% GDP growth. The media covers that. They pretend it never happened. And instead, you get 95% negative coverage. Okay? If 2020 was a fair fight, this would be over by now. But it's not. It's not even close to a fair fight. Okay? So we got to remember, we're fighting an uphill battle. We're fighting a war with one arm, two arms, sometimes two arms and a leg tied behind our back. But you guys see it. You see the jobs. You see manufacturing coming back. Americans are now living their American dream once again. You know, speaking of curing cancer, my father passed legislation, the right to try legislation. You know about that, right? All it says is it allows the pharmaceutical companies to give medications that they're working on and they've been developing and experimenting with on people who are terminal. Okay? You couldn't do it before because of government regulations, but think about that. Someone's sick. They're dying. Maybe it's cancer, maybe it's something else. Medical companies have spent billions and years working on products. They may not be quite there yet. This person's saying, just give me a chance. Where the hell was Joe Biden fighting for that? Or any of the others? So my father comes in with a common sense business approach and says, what do you have to lose? Give it a shot. And now, hundreds of people who were given their death sentence by doctors are living great lives. They're going to make it because we had a common sense approach, something that's totally missing in DC, something that's really missing, again, in the clown show 24 group that is the Democratic contenders, okay? Again, you won't hear about that because if Trump does something good, it's swept under the rug, someone else takes credit for it, they pretend it didn't happen. But I think real Americans get it. And I think that's why we're able to pack stadiums like this. Because you guys get it. Hey, we've had a pretty good quarter. No collusion, no obstruction. The liberal media and the Democrats, their dream hoax, the greatest hoax perpetrated ever on the American people. I mean, they ran with it like it was the greatest, I mean, gone. Never have, now they're still trying. But they ran with that for years because they wanted it to be true so badly. Have you ever seen a group of people so upset that the president of their country was not, in fact, colluding with the enemy? They were upset that it wasn't happening. That's the mentality that we're combating. That's what we're up against. Okay? That's the kind of craziness. We're going up against a field of leftists. They just want to raise your taxes. Yeah, it worked so well when Obama did it. It drove this economy to the slowest and worst recovery ever. Okay? But he tried to take credit for it. I mean, he owns it. Again, stupidest statement in the history of politics and economics was when Barack Obama tried to say this was his economy. No. It was, seriously, the stupidest statement in the history of both politics and economics. And that's saying something. But his policies were so bad, so dangerous, so stupid, that it's actually not hyperbole. It's the real deal. But that's what we're up against. In 2016, my father asked a simple question. He asked it actually at the time to a lot of minority groups. He said something simple. He said, "What do you have to lose?" And you know what? In 2016, you didn't have anything to lose. You didn't. Politicians made promises, they did whatever they wanted. Didn't matter. Now, you have a lot to lose. All right? You have the greatest economy in modern history. You have manufacturing jobs coming back into our country. Our greatest export is no longer the American dream. We've brought that back to Americans for them to live, for them to enjoy. I love it. I can listen to that all day. Imagine what would happen to you if you chanted that in the next 10 days or so at the Democratic debates. I wouldn't do it. You'd be in big trouble. You may not make it out of there alive. But you're right. It is about the USA. That's what we're fighting for. That's why my dad did this. He didn't need this job. That's why when we got the no collusion, no obstruction, that wasn't just a win for my father. That wasn't just a win for me, who they tried to drag into this nonsense. That was a win for all of you. You know why? Because you were with us from day one. You stuck with us from moment one. You never wavered. You had resolve. And resolve is something my father has brought back to this country. Our enemies see it. They see what he did with Israel. They see what he's doing in North Korea, where we're finally making progress. They see what he did with the ridiculous Iran deal. Yeah, maybe rather than giving the world's leading state sponsor of terror $150 billion in cash, I don't mean that figuratively, I mean actual pallets of cash on cargo planes, maybe we use it for Americans. Not entirely crazy. But again, all that can go away. 2 weeks ago, Joe Biden said, oh, China, they're not really a threat. Now, I said, man, that actually rivals, and it may surpass Obama's stupidest comment in the history of politics and economics. But Joe's got a little vested interest in China. His son took $1.5 billion from the Chinese government as investment. The greatest investors in America have spent years trying to get Chinese money to invest with them. They can't do it. He goes there on a state trip, and in 10 days he comes back with $1.5 billion. Wonder why? Now they're not a threat. Let's play a little role reversal. What do you think would be the media's reaction if Donald Trump Jr. took $1.5 from the Chinese? Not $1.5 billion like Joe Biden's son, just $1.5. They would lose their goddamn minds. But you know, Floppy Joe, he's out there flip-flopping on everything. He doesn't know what the hell he stands for anymore. But that's okay. No one's going to call him out because they want him to win. The media doesn't want Trump to win. But that's okay because you guys do. That's why my father did it. That's the uphill battle we face. I saw it last week. We were in the UK. My father had an incredible visit there with the Queen. They actually had a great rapport. It was really amazing to see. And the media is doing an incredible statistic. They say, Trump has a terrible approval rating in the UK. Well, you know who else had a terrible approval rating in the UK? George Washington. Because, by the way, first of all, it's a lie. Second of all, I don't want other countries to love our president because that means they know they're taking advantage of America. I want them to say, oh man, that guy's coming in here, we better shape up. We're not taking advantage of those people. And just because American politicians have let them get away with it for decades, we're stopping it now. But again, guys, that's why we're here. As the father of 5 young kids, as a patriotic American, I want to make sure we get this country going. I want to make sure we keep this going. I want to make sure we take on the swamp, and they ain't going easy, okay? But with people like you in our corner, with people like you fighting for us every day, despite the nonsense, despite what you read, despite all of it, you know what's going on. You see it in your communities. You see it in your workplace. You see it on the international stage. You know what's going on. With your help, we're going to keep winning. We're going to keep going, and we're going to make America great again. Thank you very much, Florida.